about a bank.
So this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to create our own view. I will create an empty view. So let me delete this existing view. You can see under view, under students detail, index.cshtml is there, right? So let me delete this. Instead of this, suppose I want to create our own view. Go to the control tab, right click it. Okay, so what I will do, I will first time let me open one notepad. Along with HTML helper knowledge, you need to have parallelly some knowledge of Razor View syntax and then create the Razor View. So from this repository notepad, I will pick up this HTML helpers, and in fact from here and put it in this and name this as Razor View. And HTML helpers. Alright, so yesterday we saw these syntax, processes, how to use. We'll implement today. And one more thing we have to know is Razor View syntax. So first thing is inline syntax or inline Razor syntax. Meaning is in the same line using C# as well as HTML. So whatever we are learning here, the process of making use of HTML and C# in the view, that we say as Razor View. So how to write inline Razor syntax? So go to Visual Studio, create an empty view. Just for sake of an example, what I will do, I will send very first students data here. Can you see? List is all student. I send a list of 0. That means very first students information I am sending. And I am going to create an empty view. Click on Add View. As usual, it will ask you the name, give it. This time I am giving empty with model student. Then click on Add. So this will give me one empty view without any coding. Only whatever model class we mentioned, it will keep that model class at the top of the view. Have a look, line number 1, it has mentioned the model class name as student. And apart from that, nothing else. Just one HTML blank page, you can say that. Because we want to create our own view, right? So how to start the view and how to work on these topics, whatever yesterday we covered, and today we are going to learn also a few more syntaxes. If it is a form, like suppose you want to use some controls and all, okay, text box, radio button, drop down, etc., then that is called a form. So if you want to design a form, usually in pure HTML, we used to do like this. Form, open bracket, close bracket, like this. Inside this, we used to create whatever the text box, radio button, submit button, whatever. So if I want to get this form from HTML helper class, that is also possible. You give it like this also, it's okay. Give it like that also, it's okay. Like this, @HTML. Okay. Dot begin form. You can start like this, @HTML dot begin form, and here you can start it like this, or if necessary, suppose you have forgotten this syntax and all, then simply you can start it like this also. That means whatever you know in HTML, that is also applicable here. Okay, @HTML dot begin form. So since we are already using HTML helpers, why not? We will say @HTML dot begin form. Right? Sometimes any syntax, if you are not able to catch it, I will tell you one technique. So what you do, you create one scaffolding view. Scaffolding view means auto-generated view. You can see here automatically some one or two examples they might have given. I just deleted. If you want to use a scaffolding view and compare the syntax of that, you can do this way. Suppose you started developing your empty view and somewhere you are not able to catch the syntax. Then either you Google it, you can remember the syntax, or what you do, since there are some inbuilt feature to create auto-generated view, you can quickly create an auto-generated view and compare with the syntax also. So somehow you have to create one form if any control is required. Suppose no control is required at this time. I don't want text box, I don't want radio button, etc. I want just some paragraph to be typed. Then no need for form. You can simply go ahead with the DB also. So first is inline razor syntax. Inline razor syntax is something C#, something HTML in the same line. So let me write here one HTML syntax, suppose H2, heading 2. This is my first page. Anything. You are writing like this. This is called HTML. Now in between HTML you wanted some C#. That is called inline razor syntax. So I can put an @ and whatever C# syntax you can display. Suppose I want to say today or current date and time is. Up to this, it is just a sentence. After this, suppose I want to go for current date and time using C#. So @. So whenever C# starts, @. Then in C# you have one class called datetime, and now that will give you current date and time. Run it and see. Just a plain HTML page, nothing much. Even form tag also I deleted, because this time I have no plan for text box, radio button, submit button, etc. Just some paragraph, some content. That's why I removed that. Form also. Form we will say only when really there is a form. With this kind of text, if you are designing a form also, not a big deal, you can go ahead. But this time, why should I make a form if I don't have plan any controls, just paragraph, lines, etc. So run it and see whether it is displaying some content of HTML as well as some content of C#. I think routing already we have set. Student details, index action method. So it will come here, student detail and index action method. Run it and see whether it is displaying. This is my first page. Current date and time is so and so. Take some time to load. I remove the breakpoint. So this part is HTML part and this part is C# part. If I'll remove that at the rate, what will happen? As it is, it will display what you see here. So at the rate indicates anything in C#, and plain text or tag indicates anything in HTML. Next is how to use razor block. Razor block means block of C# codings. So go to HTML, CSS_HTML. Block of C# coding means one is every line you can put at the rate. Another is just give one at the rate with curly bracket like this. Okay. If you put a open curly bracket here and close curly bracket here, that means it understood that from here to here everything is C#. So that every line you don't need to put at the rate. That is called razor block. So here you can go ahead and declare anything, like suppose I want to declare one integer variable. Fine, integer x equal to 100. Absolutely fine. Integer y equal to 200. So every line I am not putting at the rate. If I will not use this, then I have to say at the rate integer x equal to this, at the rate integer y equal to this. So if you are dead sure that some 4 or 5 lines or 10 lines continuously I need C#, then you have to write it inside a razor block. Like I can say z equal to x plus y. Anything that you want to write, you can write here. So this is called razor block. And this razor block doesn't follow the scope of the variable concept. In C#, usually if you are writing integer x inside if condition, then it was having scope only inside that. But this time, this is not a scope curly bracket. Like if curly bracket, for curly bracket, while curly bracket, function curly bracket, class curly bracket. It is not like that. It is just group of something. That's why curly bracket. So scope is not limited to inside this curly bracket block. That means you can use this x inside also. You can use this x outside also, somewhere here also, if necessary. Suppose somebody says I want to display z value using some HTML content, then come outside and display it, no problem. So you can say P for paragraph, the value of z is inline again, because C# z, so at the rate z. Okay. If you simply write z, what will happen? It will understand the text z. At the rate z means C# z. So C# z variable will display here. So that is what the meaning is. Scope is not limited inside the block. Let me write that point. If any variable declared, then scope is not limited to the block or result block, like other blocks, C sharp, other blocks, if block, loop block. It will not be limited scope, it will be outside the scope also. This is result block and how to use it. 2-3 things at a time we will implement, then we will run it because it takes time to load also. So third thing, inside block, inside C sharp block in fact, if we want to display some text, how to do? I mean, inside this curly bracket itself, I want to display here the value of x is this, value of y is this, like that. Can I write like this, the value of, no, right? If I will write the also, it will understand it is C sharp command and all, and it will show error when I will run it. It will say there is no command called THE, there is no command called value, because it is understanding now C sharp is going on. Now if you will write simply also, it will show error. If you will write @ also, it will show error, because it's really not C sharp, right? It is content, text. So there is something like this, @ : that means if C sharp is already going on inside the block, suddenly you wanted some text, then you can make @ : so this is @ : so inside C sharp text, and when text is going on, suddenly C sharp. And in the same line, C sharp as well as HTML. So these are all various ways. So the value of x is, currently text is going on in this line. If I'll simply write x, it will understand text x. So @ x. Okay. If text is going on suddenly C sharp, @. If C sharp is going on suddenly text, @. Similarly, if you want, you can write value of y also. Value of y is y. This is about text. If you want to display any HTML tag itself, then nothing to worry. You directly go ahead and write it. Suppose line break, BR. You can do it, no problem. No @, no @ nothing. HTML, anywhere, anytime, any tag you can mention. Whether C sharp is going on or pure HTML is going on. You can anytime inform compiler, because it's document object model. So document object model by default understand HTML script. So no need to write any specifier, directly you can say, please break a line or 2-line break I want, and so on. Here I want 2-line break, here I want 2-line break, no problem. So any tag, angle bracket, something. But it should be a valid tag, anything you can write. So HTML tag you can mention inside the result block, outside the result block without any prefix. So let's run this much, then we'll go further. In fact, as long as you are changing only view, no need to close this browser also. You can keep it minimized, then change something in the view, then refresh it, possible. So this is how we are able to display all this inside result block, outside result block. Next is Can I already what we know? We know blocks inside that variable declaration. All the operators are most welcome. If you know C#, anything you can write here. Now suppose I want to put some if-else condition, etc. If-else condition, loop, arrays and all. If razor block is going on, no problem. Directly you start writing like this, if and all that. Okay? Because razor block is going on. C# is going on. So anything, anytime you can say if x greater than 20, then do this, otherwise do that. Most welcome. But same thing when we write without a block outside somewhere here. Okay? Then we have to just put on @ nothing else. So I can say if something, then do this, otherwise do that. So when you are putting this curly bracket, this is your C# curly bracket. Since if is not getting a semicolon here, that's why it will automatically understand that this line is not ending here. So every line no need to give @. Inside this, whatever condition you want to give, you can give it. Suppose I said datetime dot is leap year. This is a function. Datetime dot is leap year of datetime dot now dot current year. I'm just checking current year is leap year or not using inbuilt function. Just anything, don't focus on this, it can be x greater than y also. So simply some condition. When this condition satisfied, I want to display something like you can say x is larger, else. So here what important point to remember in this is, it's not that you don't know if else statement, first time I am teaching you. Here important thing what to mark is @, no need to give all the lines @, because it understands it is not just this line. If is already containing all these lines. So if it is while, if it is for, okay, so those kind of things already understood that it starts from here and goes up to here. So one time @ is enough. Okay, so here I will say y is larger and so on. Okay. So this is called off the line C# block. Inline razor block, offline C# block, C# razor block. So these are all naming usually we use. So off the line, that's why it is important to understand whether all the line @ is there or not. But here not necessary, because if is not independent of first line, it is depending upon rest of the lines. Similarly, loop also, suppose you are using a for loop. Since it is C#, it is obvious that you have to write for. Got it? Only question mark is, should I write this curly bracket also with @? Because they are all C#? Answer is not required. Because your for is not having a semicolon here. For is not independent of next line. Rest things up to you, whatever you want to write. Integer I equal to 1, I less than 10, I plus plus, whatever. That's all depends upon your requirement. Today we are learning just the way of using C# inside our HTML page. That's why this is CS_HTML. And the syntax is called razor syntax. So here, let me write something like this, @i. All right, so let's refresh it and see. Okay, so y is larger, it is saying, because it's 200, and then I wanted to display one paragraph, one number. Similarly, for each loop and all you can use. Now, if you go to scaffolding view, easily you can understand with this much. Chalo, for each also will write, then we'll go there. Suppose I want to say, I have an array, say integer ARR equal to new integer of some values. And I want to display that array using for each loop. Possible. So @for each integer x in yx, something else I will use. Each value in array. Okay. And every time I want to display each value, so each value. So this is how you can use for each loop also. It will pick up the values and display from array. Of course, console.writeLine you will not use. Something mistake it is showing in the syntax. Did I miss anything? Semicolon. Yeah, I missed the semicolon. Yeah, it is showing error here also. So refresh this. Okay, so absolutely fine. So now you follow your Razor syntax auto-generated view, what we have generated yesterday, and you see really you are able to understand or not. What I will do, I will not disturb this index action method because we want to compare with this syntax at any time. So I will create one more action method like this. Suppose my action method name is public. Let me stop the application because C# changes we are doing. Okay, HTML changes doesn't matter, but C# changes means it will go on showing you warning. So stop the application and then prepare whatever you want to prepare. Action result. I want to display, suppose student data. So display student. You can name any name. It's not that index only always. Then return. Don't forget this return view. Because ultimately, whatever action plan you write, you have to return to view. So return view. Now, yesterday, whatever we did to display students like this, today also we'll do, but in a separate function because we don't want to disturb this index related Razor syntax. Otherwise, what will happen? This will be overridden by auto-generated view. So I will generate one more view, exactly same as like yesterday, but in another action method. And there we will compare what coding it is automatically generating, whether we are able to understand or not. Right click, add the view. If your action method name is display student, the view name will also display student. Then go for Razor syntax of list view. Scaffolding view, list view. Scaffolding view means auto-generated view. Why? Because I want to see now whether we are capable of understanding auto-generated view or not with this much knowledge. What we got now. Model class is student. add it. Start from the extremely top. So yesterday I was telling you, ignore these things because you have no idea about the rigid syntax. Since now you got some idea, so let's understand what it is automatically generating, whether we are able to understand or not. First line you see. Absolutely fine. There also we got one model class, but since only one student object we sent, so simply student. If I'm sending list of student, then list of student. I enumerable is the interface implemented in the list class. So I enumerable of student, or you write simply list of student, that is also fine, no problem. Okay, if you go to list, you will see it has been implemented from one interface called I enumerable. So by default it gives the interface name. If necessary, you can go for list also. Only difference is if you are giving I enumerable, then all those functions which is there in I enumerable, only those functions can be accessible here. That is what abstraction all about, right? Interface. If I am giving list, then all the functions of list class will be accessible here. So let's go with I enumerable. You decided the model class name. Layout, as of now, we don't know what is layout, forget it. HTML, have a look. It gives some head, it gives some body. Inside body, it started one table, and below it used some for each loop, and so on. Right? So let's understand line by line. Hyperlink. Yesterday I told you what is the syntax of hyperlink. Anytime if you want to use hyperlink, you call the function called action link. First argument is text to display. Second argument is action method to go. Third argument is in which controller this action method is available. Okay. Guys, same day practice is important. So if you are thinking I'm everything understanding in class, that is wrong actually. You are understanding, but you will not remember unless you practice. So same day practice is important. So here it started on table tag. Inside that, one row, table heading. Okay, every heading, it is displaying some. Can you see? One function we are calling display name for. Wherever this for came, what I have told you, either it will be editor for, which is called templated type, or it will be tightly coupled or strongly coupled one. Okay, so check it out. I'm not sure whether you might have downloaded this once or gone through once. So that is what the meaning. That means either second type or third type when it is F4 for. Since editor is not there, that means it is second category. That means definitely it is connected with some model class property. That is what you understand from the HTML helpers knowledge. So role, name, these are all properties of your model class. Display name for means property name will be displayed here. Property name will be displayed here. And coming down, that means in heading, simply it will display property name. But in the below content, one more row I put it inside the loop. That means heading never repeats, data repeats. That's why this heading row called tr, which is having th, that you need not to put inside the loop because heading comes only once, but data comes again and again. So for each loop, inside for each loop, on what you are looking through, you are already sending list of students here. If you see, ultimately you have to look through that list of students, so that every time you will get one object of student class. So anything that you are sending from controller to view, If you want to access it, you have to write capital M model. So capital M model, that indicates anything that content came from controller to view. So that content is nothing but a list. So I used var item. Okay. I can use student also, no problem. Like this. Usually auto-generated syntax does it. In fact, it will be @student because it's a C# student. But what actually here Regex syntax does is, it says every time if I will go for student type, then I have to typecast and use everything. But if I will go for variant type, I don't need to typecast. That red color underline was showing because it was expecting me typecasting. So var is the best way to get rid of this specific type related things. So it will say, hey, roll number is integer. Why don't you convert to integer and do something? Now var means variant type. So no need for any typecasting. So the best way is, whenever you have no idea what kind of data will come from controller, whether student type, department type, employee type, the best way is use var, so that every line you don't need to typecast and using it. So item indicates every object kept inside the model class. Model class object is LST. So every object inside LST is student object, student object, student object, like that. And student is having so many properties, so we displayed all those properties here. Again, see, display for. It is not just simply display. Simply display means first category of HTML helper. This is second category of HTML helper, that means strongly connected with some model property. Okay, so display for which model? I mean, which property of the model? Role. This can be anything. X such that also you can write, Y such that also you can write. But inside this loop, every time when loop is running, your item is one object of the student class. So that object dot role, that object dot name, that object dot marks, it picked up and display. So this row will be repeated again and again. Go to last part of this row here, line number 55 to line number 59. What is this? If I will remove it also, I'm okay, because intention is to display this content. But this is one additional stuff called other crude operations, like insert some data, add some data, delete some data. If you want to have any additional crude operation on top of this content, then you can make use of this. We will be going to that, how to use crude operation in MVC. So for that purpose, you can see here some commented lines are there. It says, suppose you are clicking on edit button, because it's action link, right? Action link means hyperlink. Suppose somebody is clicking this edit button. What action plan you are going to do, you have not yet decided. That's why inside new keyword, it has commented things. When you will start developing your code, that okay, if somebody is clicking on edit, I want to pass one parameter from browser to C# or controller, that ID of the student is so and so, or roll number of the student is so and so. For that guy, please edit the text. So that kind of action plan you can take inside this new keyword. We will see next level when we will go to how to use this crude operation. So idea is, every row, whether you want to give user one chance of editing, deleting, inserting, updating, detail displaying, and so on. So some couple of things it has given. If necessary, you can give more than this also. So if I will do this display student as default routing action method, then it will go to that action method. Let's run it and see how this auto-generated view is displaying. We will be understanding something there. We will match with our Azure syntax. Then we will go for other crude operation like edit, detail, delete, etc. It came here. Now it collected the data from a repository, which is having some 4 records, and then all 4 records I'm sending it to. Usually I say record, but it is actually objects. So each object I'm treating like a record. It displayed here. Somebody wants, I want one row, every table rows with some line. That means border of the table. So go there and write border. That means what I mean to say, auto-generated view, it's okay. But if necessary, you can modify also. If anything required extra, auto-generated view will not give everything for you. Somebody says, hey, I want a background color. Why it will give you background color? It is up to your requirement. You give it. So I want a border in the table. So I will go here and say, why don't you put a border in this table? Just refresh it. So it came with some 1 pixel border. So talking about last part, edit, detail, delete, these are all hyperlinks, but it will not work now if I'll click. Why? Because those action plan we have commented, right? If you see last part, auto-generated view, it has commented. It doesn't know what you are going to do on click of that. Just to see, it gave you some hyperlinks, that's it. If you want those operations, you have to do something. So what is that do something is crude operation. Even create new, can you see at the top of the page? Just to see it has written. If I'll click, it will show error. It will say that, hey, nothing has been written behind this. So this is that table we are talking about, which is auto-generated table, and it is displaying the data. Taking from model and displaying the data. First line, row, heading, no need for loop. Second line onwards, it is repeating, so you need a loop. So most important thing here, whatever I explain, is capital M model. That is the keyword which is containing any data that you supply from controller to the view. Accordingly, you have to decide what should I write the coding. Okay? Capital M model, not small m. Model. Because it's model data, that's why they named it as model. Capital M, it starts with. So, anytime you want to search inside that data what came from database, I want to display something or I want to do some operation, then must remember capital M model is the content of all the data together what came from controller to view. That's why I look through that model. Okay, so these are all little general knowledge you got. How to create one small Azure page, Azure view from your own, and how to use auto-generated view, which is called scaffolding view. Let me write that note. When we use auto-generated view, we say it as scaffolding view. If we create from our own, then it is called custom view. Okay? After all, both are view only. But this is called custom view, that is called auto-generated view or scaffolding view. Now let's go and use little more scaffolding view. As of now, how many scaffolding view you have used? Only one, that is called list view. But more are there. edit view, create view, detail view, delete view. Lot of views are there, which is scaffolding view. So let's make use of them to implement CRUD operation. So coming to your code, this is the code. Let's first start with create new. Imagine I want to create a view which will help me to create a new record in the employee class. In the employee table. So repository, as of now we have only one functionality called get all students. If you want create new student, delete student, edit student, then that many function also have to put as simple as that in the repository, because they are also communicating with database, right? So any functionality communicating with database, you have to do it in the repository. And same declaration part, you have to put it in the interface. But before that also some activity is there. Imagine I want to go for insert operation. Let me write the heading as CRUD operation using above syntax. Okay. We understood HTML helper syntax. We understood result view syntax. So how to use this knowledge in doing some CRUD operation? Okay. So first let's go for creating new record. C for create. So let's go for that. If I will ask you steps of approaches, obviously it will be like, first is stored procedure, second will be repository, third will be abstraction, means interface, fourth will be controller, and fifth will be view, isn't it? This will be the sequence of development. Model didn't come because model is one-time activity. For every function, you are not going to create different model, right? Model is model, having the tabular structure. Part of my table is having fields. Those properties is already there in the model. If this is first time you are doing, then probably right after creating the stored procedure, your model should come. Got it or not? Imagine creating a new record operation is your first activity. As of now, you have not yet created any fetch and display or any operation. That means model is also not available as of now. Then the sequence is like this: stored procedure, then model, then repository, then abstract, then controller, then view. Got it? So let's go to stored procedure because we want insert operation. Open database. So let me remind you what is our model this time while database is opening. Our model this time is this. So for fetch and display already we have used this model. So for create also we will use this model, same model. What insertion we are doing? Same one we are fetching and display. So every time no need to create different model. So using repository, how to do CRUD operation. That is what the topic we are learning now. Our database is September 2020. Oh, October 2020, right? I don't know where we created it. Okay, I think I created it inside September 2020, right? No problem. We must have used that database also in the web.config.
We created in October 2020.
October, huh? Okay. Yeah, I have created in October. And the table name is students. All right. So go here and create one more stored procedure. I'm sure we might not have created stored procedure or insert, update, delete, and so on. Still, you can just expand it and see whether we have something. Yes, we do have something. I think same table we might have used during console application or web application maybe. So insert student data, let me check. Yes, our stored procedure is already available. So why not we'll go with same name, marks, result, and roll number. Roll number, name, marks, result, and created date. If this is the one, then we can go ahead. Roll number, name, marks, result, and created date. Absolutely fine. So that means your step number 1 is done already. Step number 2 is already done because model is ready. Now 3, repository. Go to repository. This is our repository. Copy paste any one function. Then modify the things, whatever you need. So this time function name I will give it as insert student data. Okay. Because maximum things are similar, so why not I will copy paste and change it. The return type I will go for string. Because I want to return success or failed like that one. Simple string word. So that means probably I don't need this list. I need string. String message equal to string.empty and return this message at the last. See how step by step I'm going. I copy pasted, then I change the prototype of this function, and then according to my new return type, I deleted that old return type called list and I replaced with one message, and first I fixed that error related to return type. Then come inside and see connected architecture, disconnected architecture, or what you want to do. Stored procedure name, this. That will save your time because already one functionality is there. Why unnecessary you will type everything again? Okay, so these are all because it is collecting and displaying. These are all because it is collecting the data and displaying. But this time we are not collecting and displaying. We have to insert the data into in database, which is connected architecture. So what you need? First and second step of the edu.net, we did it. Third and fourth step we have to do from our own. That means parameter, you have to decide what are the parameters to be sent. Second thing is execute non-query. So com dot parameters dot add with value. If you have lot of parameters, why not you will copy paste it there, and later on you delete it instead of going again and again to stored procedure. So @name is my parameter name, and data is coming from here. In this function curly, open bracket, close bracket, you take one object of student. That means input will be student object to this function, and output will be one message called success or failed. So here, input object student dot roll number, if any. I mean, roll number we are not sending, name we are sending. Why roll number we are not sending? Because perhaps we might have done that as identity column, primary key with identity. Okay, 3 parameters you are sending. So 3 times I copy pasted and renamed it as whatever required. Similarly, result, and here result. That's it. Our stored procedure are expecting 3 parameters. We gave 3 parameters. Then what? Com dot, first of all, open the connection, and then com dot execute non-query. Similarly, com dot close. whatever number of records affected, you stored it into one variable and then check that variable whether more than one row, more than 0 means at least one row has been inserted or not. So if so, then I will say message equal to success. Otherwise, message equal to failed. Within double quote. That's why I decided string as return type. Either success or failed, I have to return. If you want here also, you can say message equal to some exception like that. So finally in line number 84, when we are going to return message, either it will be success or it will be failed or it will be some exception. Based on that, you can take a call in the controller class. Did I leave anything up to your understanding? Convert close also we did. Parameter also we defined. Command type also we mentioned. So it should be perfect. Right? Now abstraction. Next step is abstraction. Abstraction means simply copy this line and put it there. Where is our interface? Inside infrastructure, inside abstract, inside iStudent repository. Now go to next level called repository, controller. In controller, what we are going to do? You are going to call the function of repository, isn't it? We cannot complete it today, but let's do something here in the controller. So here's something to understand, guys. When we are looking into this display student data, you can see there is one action link at the line number 16. It says if somebody is clicking this create new, I will take you to the create action method. But that create action method is missing. We have to do that. So make sure you are writing the name of the function as create. Imagine you want to say save employee, save student. Then here also you have to write save student like that. Or insert student, whatever. Okay. So if you need insert student, then here also you must write insert student. Since in CRUD operation we say C for create, that's why usually they give the create. So any function name you can give here. But that function name you have to define here in the controller. Okay, public action result and then create. Simply put return view as of now, just to avoid that error. Now here what to write, that matters. Okay. That means we are going to communicate between the view and the repository being present in the controller. Tomorrow we will continue this, CRUD operation, create, update, delete, whatever. So don't go to CRUD operation what I did partially today. Simply leave it. You focus today's practice up to this. How to use HTML helpers and how to use Razor syntax for various programming to write in the Razor view. Okay. Any question you pick it from your console application C# and try to do it in using Razor syntax in view. That kind of small practice you do today. So after completing Razor with CRUD operation, then you will get a complete workflow. That insert, update, delete, this, that, all small operations you will be confident about. Then if I will give you some real-time example also, you will be capable of, managing to do it. So, but now You focus on the small practice, like how to use Razor syntax, how to use HTML helper, how to use auto-generated view. This kind of things, today's practice will be focused for. Okay. Crude operation, whenever I did, you will leave it. Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So you wrote two functions, the display function and the create on the controller. So the create is the one that's going to use to create a form that would submit the information?
Absolutely. We will go to that. That's why I said don't worry about it. As long as I'm not teaching, okay? So we will complete it tomorrow, then you will be worrying about it. So today only focus about what is there in index and what is there in display, how to write our own view, how to use our scaffolding view, all small helper classes, how to make use of them. Like one thing I told you how to use text box. For text box I said you have to use @HTML.begin form. So those kind of things today you focus about. How to use begin form, curly bracket, open, close, and so on. If I want to draw some text box. Not able to understand, not able to get the syntax, go to some auto-generated syntax and see how they have done it. Then you do that yourself. Okay. So next class we will focus about the rest of the crude operations.
But we don't have a class tomorrow, right?
Yeah, 1 minute. I forgot. What is your batch actually? Yeah, 1 minute. Usually you guys were connecting with me starting from Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Originally it was.
Okay. Okay, I'm not sure. I think about tomorrow I might not have a discuss about other guys. So this time, as usual, without any changes, you connect with me. Your timing is, I think, usually Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, right? So Tuesday you connect with me, and tomorrow I will discuss with other guys, finalize it, then I will allow you to change the timing. Okay. So next class will be on Tuesday. India time Tuesday, of course. Other people you have to calculate yourself.